what's the defining line between savoring and what sometimes we call LARPing, so role playing, but in a bad way, where what you do is you escape reality. And to put it in more objectivist terms, if you try to recreate, let's say, this emotion, couldn't you say that you're trying to get an effect without the cause? So let me give a simple example. Let's say, oh, back then when I graduated, I was a great guy. Now I am a lazy bum. But how nice was it then? And I'll recreate it. That's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, what if this savoring actually leads to a sadness? And I'll give a specific example. There's this very famous basketball player, one of the best in history, who died in a car accident when he was in his 30s. And his mother was, and that was like around 30 years ago. And his mother was, I was reading an interview the other day because she's having like a museum with the history of this guy's life. And she says that quite often she enjoys watching old tapes with his best games. And I'm thinking, but doesn't this bring back bad memory? And because that your kid is dead, which is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And there's also an interesting thing, scene in Atlas Shrugged. It's, I think in the chapter, The Immovable Movers. It's Dagny in the beginning. She doesn't know the whereabouts of Francisco. She is listening to Richard Halley, which was the movie, the music they were listening together. And then she sees a photo of him in the newspaper and says, don't read it, don't read it. But she reads, it's one of these stories with his ridiculous affairs with other women. And the combination of the music that brings back all these hard, strong memories that she had with him. And she ends up crying, and there's this pain which kind of overtakes her body.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your comments on these things, please.
Well, do you remember when I said that I'll often give the exercise to clients and they say like, no problem. And then they come back the next week and they found it really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's because so many people's memories are bittersweet or compromised. So I would never, with a client, I would never encourage them to use one of those memories that is complicated. So in the case of Dagny there, there's too much pain involved in that one to generate the kind of effects that we're hoping to do there. So, and I think you'll find that if you successfully are savoring things that were good for you and you had done well, etc., then you're not cheating the system. You know, that you're actually just reliving something that you had done well and you had earned it and you had earned that emotion, and you're re-tapping into that. The case that you said at the beginning is quite an interesting one. You know, oh, I did really well at my graduation, but now let's say become a failure and blah, blah, blah. You could use that to help you, give you some energy to in the process of changing back to being a better person. But it's not like a substitution. It's not going to I am a really good guy because I did that. No, it's using it as a tool to give you some kind of boost, etc. And that's what I mean. Like, you have to be careful with the whole with positive emotion in that way,
Right?
Using it in that way, because it can't substitute for, as that's why Seligman is always saying it's the least important of the 5 key components of flourishing. But it is important, and it's not something that is, you know, it's also one of the greatest rewards. If you experience joy because you've written Atlas Shrugged and it's, you know, sold millions, and you know that you're making a tremendous impact and you're, you know, really proud of that, then that's the reward. How amazing is that?